I recorded a clip this morning, which will be uploaded at the same time as this one. But it was on my way out, and I was talking about how I need to get back into my book and back into the writing, and really I just need to sit down and just do it. And pleased to say, as I'm making my way home, 2 or 3, I think about nearly 3 hours later, I did just that. I got my coffee, I sat down, I got the cards, coloured cards that I've written on that are in previous clips, and I thought, right, I've got a newish notebook. Let's start afresh. So I wrote the headings down as the cards came up, and I just wrote whatever I thought. So I don't think necessarily inspired stuff, but sometimes you just have to do it, don't you? Sometimes you just have to go ahead, plonk yourself down, make yourself sit down and write. So there we go. I think I did a dedicated 2 hours. I think it was from the time I started to the time I stood up and all the bits in between. I'd say probably a dedicated 2 hours, and I did about 20 odd cards. So they'll need more detail, they'll need padding out, but I just wrote down whatever thoughts came onto those headings for me. And I've noticed that obviously some I can join together, or again, as I've done in previous ones, repeat them later on in the book with just a slightly different take, a different title, a different take on them, because sometimes we read them differently, don't we, when they're further along in a book, or we've gone through something, we've changed. So it might be that I keep it, but I might join it. I'm open to whatever, however it turns out lengthwise, and if there's any padding needed. So I'm looking forward to typing those up now. Maybe when I get in, there's football on tonight. The Lionesses are on TV, I think from 6, or they're playing from 6. I tend to like to watch their matches, so that'll be good. I might just go in, get some lunch, do some dedicated hours of typing up, see where that takes me, and just feel that I'm progressing, because as I've said in other clips, we are constantly in creativity. We are. So even if I'm not doing anything, as I'm walking, I'm creating, because it'll be going through my mind. And I think probably what I missed was it didn't seem to be as in my mind as previous books have been. But maybe that's natural with this title. Maybe it doesn't consume me the way that others would. I enjoyed sitting down today. I enjoyed being reflective and writing. I enjoyed the atmosphere today. I couldn't sit yesterday in the library. There was different types of noises, I think. I do like a bit of background noise. And that was okay. For a time being, then I had to move, but today was good. I could put my head up, look up, see a bit more of what was going on, and then put my head down and just get lost in it. I did feel a little bit of flow. I did feel, just that rotation of, okay, pick up a card, write in the title, write my thoughts, next. I had sort of a pattern going, and maybe that's what helps as well. And it is that idea, as I said in the previous clip, of if this is my job now, my career, you have to turn up and just do it. I've taken a few days. So the last few months, I realised the other day that April would have been the last time that I was actively writing a book. So the one that I published in May, I had written previously, and I adapted it slightly to be something different. But there was copying and pasting, there wasn't much. There was some changing, but there wasn't much writing or engaging the mind. And then I did journals, June, July. I was happy to do them. I had thought at the time, do I break them up? do a writing of a book and in between the two journals. But and of course it was July, it's holiday season, and I wanted that out there, so I did those together, and I'm glad they're done. They were on my wish list to complete and achieve, and I did. So now I'm back to the grind of writing, which is definitely the part that I enjoy the most, of having those ideas and then thinking, how can I put them best, and how do they fit together, and how do they slot in the book. And sometimes it leads to another idea of a book. So I really enjoy that process of it all. But so it's good to get back, and I think the next few books on my list will tax me a bit more as well. So maybe this is a nice one just to ease me into that process. And we'll see how things progress. I don't know until I've typed up and maybe done every card. There's more cards to go. So I did 20 odd today. Some have been done already, so I could find that I've repeated one, and that's okay. It's interesting sometimes what I would write today and what maybe I've previously written. It's good to compare. Sometimes it is different, or a different slant depending on my mood. I could have also written exactly the same. So it's always a good process for me, but there's an interesting one, isn't it? So we'll see where that goes. And I want to see. There's a few books next on the list that I'm excited about. That again, I'm not sure which slant to take. I'm not sure where they will lead. Will I do them in my name? Will I do them in a different name? Who knows? And I get into that question then of why would I not put them in my name? And there's no reason not to. The beauty of having them in my name is obviously I can advertise them, I can promote them as mine. That's the only difference, isn't it? I mean, obviously I would promote it anyway. I promote it as somebody else's work, so I have no issue with that. It's just, do I want them in my name? Is it important to me? So we see, don't we? We see. It's all good questions in creativity. So doing my YouTube clips helps with creativity. I'm not sure if I put down in one clip that last week or maybe the week before I did dictate on my Word document and played one of my YouTube clips just to see if I could pick up that way, see if it's an idea for me. If now I prefer walking and talking and getting ideas out, could I just take an idea, walk and talk with it, and then capture that on my Word document? So again, that was something new and really interesting for me to think, okay, well, that's a technique maybe that works. Some words it gets mixed up. Sometimes it's just stopped completely working. So that's been frustrating because I can't then leave it, go off and make a cup of tea or coffee, and come back later. There'll be a way around it, I'm sure. And I also like the typing. But it's good to have different techniques, isn't it? To know, okay, actually I could walk and talk. I could have an idea in my head and I could go with it. And maybe that might work better for getting into the other ideas and stuff. So there we go. I'm just glad this morning that part of whatever it was that felt like it was stopping me from progressing has gone. I think it was just me. There's been lots going on at the moment, and that's completely natural. And I've had some stressful situations that sometimes you just have to stop. Sometimes it helps to push through, and sometimes it helps just to stop and say, hold on a minute, let's just acknowledge where I am with this. And my writing is always good to help me. It gives me a focus. Even when I'm not writing, I'm sitting there with the laptop and I feel like I'm doing something, but progress has been made. And I think it's important we talk about these things, because it'd be wrong, wouldn't it, just to think, oh, every writer sits at their laptop, it all flows out of them and it's done and on. And that has happened with some of my books. So I do like this process of this is taking longer, I think, than normal. But if I really look back on the others, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's exactly the same, and I'm just telling myself that it's harder. It could be easier. There is always a point with every book I've come to and gone, do I really want to finish this? So maybe I'm just having more of that now. When I get into the flow, it'll just fly out of my hands, kind of thing. That would be lovely. And maybe it's natural, maybe it's a good thing that it holds me back from just rushing and publishing quickly, you know. But I think it's good for other creative people to hear there is a process, and sometimes there are difficulties, and you find the technique that works for you to get you through that break of it, that blockage. And sometimes I talk to other people about it, and their ideas in other areas of life might help too. So I hope your creativity is going well. Feel free, if you have any techniques to get you through any blockages, feel free to share them in the comments. I always like to hear. But enjoy your day.